I accumulated about 20 to 30 plants in the past 2 months. I stare at plants for, I don't know, half an hour just to look at them and see what progress they have every single day. I decided to do a plant tour so that I can see those plants from all different angles. I can later compare them maybe 3-5 months down the line and see what I've done to them, what I should have improved, or what my plant looked like before it's all glorious growth. I like to think that this is the most perfect plant that I own. Every single piece of leaf is just this perfect heart shape, and there are hardly any scabs or marks except these couple brown spots that I have because I put it too close to southern window under direct light. Other than that, the new leaves are bright, pretty, and it's just started to trail and it looks perfect. Up here I have my peperomia pixie. When I bought it, the leaves are much smaller than this. I repotted it. I think probably the hydrogen peroxide treatment was burning its leaves. And this pot I got from Walmart, it didn't look like this initially, but I just didn't like how it looked, so I painted a little bit of gray streaks of different colors on it, and I also painted the white text gray. This is my golden pothos I got from my apartment. My apartment has this amazing pothos wall. Well, it's not technically amazing because the plants aren't in the best condition, but I still think it's really cool to look at. I asked the leasing office if I could take some cuttings off of the pothos wall, and the staff gave me a bunch of cuttings. I originally had them in water. A couple days ago, I planted all of them in soil, and right now, as you can see, they're not doing the best. Some leaves are stiff, and some leaves are very flimsy. And because these pothos are grown indoors, they're not under the best lighting condition. Over time, they just started to revert back to jade pothos. What I did was I took out the cuttings that looked more golden and had more variation on them and planted them in this pot. This is my second time transferring something from water to soil. I just really hope that they do well, and I hope that they'll establish their roots and start taking nutrients from the soil. This is my peace lily. I got it from a 4-inch pot, and then I checked the pot. The roots were basically coming out and then coming out from the top of the soil, coming out from the bottom of the drainage hole. So I repotted it. This is a 6-inch pot. And I think this peace lily is my mom's favorite plant because every time I show her pictures of my plants, she always comments on this one. She really likes how the leaves look. It's really dark and really shiny. My thing with peace lily is that I really like those big peace lilies. I don't like tiny ones. I think tiny peace lilies are not as cool. But I recently just learned that there are different cultivars, and this kind is probably just gonna go this big and won't get any bigger, but it grows like weed. This is my jade plant. I got it almost bare root with a tiny bit of soil from a nursery. I just don't know what to do with it. Do I just leave it here? Is it gonna be too top heavy and then start to tip over? That will be a while, so I don't have to worry about it, I guess. This is one of my many peperomias. I was really attracted to the red edges and the dark green leaves, and I think it's such a nice contrast. The new leaves growing out are somewhat broken. I don't know what happened there, but when I bought it, it was super root bound, and this was the leaf that was coming out when I bought it from the nursery, so maybe that's a result of being root bound. I think it might need watering. I go by the weight of the pot and the leaves when I water peperomias, so the pot has to be really light and the leaves have to be soft. I honestly forgot what this plant is. When I got it, it pretty much looked like this, and now all of the leaves are falling off, soft and falling off, and I think it needs water. When it's under the sun, the leaves are shimmery with golden flecks. It looks so pretty, and I got it right there. The pot was just a normal terracotta pot that I painted, but I don't really like how this looks. They look cooler in my mind. This is my Peperomia obtusifolia variegata. I got it from Lowe's, I think. It was in the worst condition when I got it. It was overwatered, it had root rot, and by the time I got it home, it got fungus gnats from another plant, I think. In order to treat it, I tried to water it with hydrogen peroxide mixture and then overwatered it even more. There used to be 3 stems, and now there's only 2 because I cut off all of the rotten leaves, and then one day I took the stem and pulled it out and found that the stem is almost completely rotten and swollen, and the roots were black, so I just discarded it. This plant has gone through so much shock and has been dormant for so long. Well, technically it's not that long because it's only a month or so, but to me it felt like forever, and now finally it's recovering. This is my spider plant that I got from my coworker. My coworker has a big mother plant that she brought to the office, and it started having little spider plant pups. So she just cut one and put it in water, and I asked her for it. There was another one that she put in water that she was gonna throw away because the root didn't develop as well, but I told her I'm gonna take it anyways. So there are actually 2 spider plants that are in here. Initially it looked like a bunch of dead grass, and now it's starting to grow thicker leaves, but I don't really know how spider plants grow. I don't know if they're supposed to grow long or they're supposed to grow a lot of leaves. And another thing is, spider plant is not toxic to pets, and my cat loves eating this thing. I don't know what's wrong with her because I buy her special cat grass mix as well, the wheat and barley, and she eats that, but when she doesn't have that, she used to eat the spider plant, so I'm really happy that it's not poisonous or toxic for pets. I'm pretty sure this is one of those monsteras that were germinated from seeds. There are YouTube videos on how and the process of germinating monsteras from seeds. I watched some of those and then I figured out that this is probably one of those. I think I have it for about a month or 2, and in the beginning it just kept giving me these tiny little leaves. And also when I brought it back from the plant shop, it was terrain. They have a bunch of plants that are really trendy and really cute, but at the same time they're really overpriced. The stalks that got cut off, I'm pretty sure the nursery initially overwatered this, so they just cut off everything that was rotted. But even that, after I brought it home, it still gave me yellow leaves like this. I'm pretty sure this is from like another seed, and this is a tiny monstera. And this leaf is new. It's just coming out, and this is the biggest leaf that I got so far. I don't know what you're supposed to do for it, but I just water it and make sure I don't overwater it. I just hope one day it will grow up to be a strong, independent, mature monstera like everybody else's. I really want one of those white variegated rubber trees, and I can't find it anywhere. One day I was at a nursery and I was like, well, fine, I'll just get this one instead. I have to say that rubber plants grow really slowly, so not that they don't put out new leaves, but each leaf takes a long time to come out. So when I got this plant, it had 3 of these little things, and now I have 2 new leaves, and this still stayed as the tiny little shoot. This is a new leaf, and this is another new leaf. Last time when I didn't water it for a while, this one, you know how it's sticking up, it starts like sticking sideways. So that's when I realized that this plant needs some water, and now I know that rubber trees can go pretty dry. I've seen it a couple times before already. None of them look as nice as the one that I saw, so I decided to get it immediately. And you can see raindrop peperomias grow so pretty. It has somewhat thick of two stems in the middle, and then you have these starting leaves just draping all over the places. And some of them are even heart-shaped. They look like philodendrons. And this is the newest one on top, and you can see their leaves growing out everywhere. And the shape is just so nice. I always think that this is the perfect beginner plant for a lot of people, because if you touch it, it almost feels like a soft plastic texture, like your rain jacket. And that's an indication that it needs watering, because normally it would be pretty hard and stiff. I think I'm gonna let it go for one more day and then I'll water it. I wanted a fiddle leaf fig, but they come in really big pots. And my boyfriend kind of persuaded me to get a smaller plant and try to raise it little by little, because I'm not particularly experienced as a plant parent, and I heard that fiddle leaf figs are very finicky. And he says that since I'm scared of bugs and insects most of the time, I should try with a smaller plant and try with something that's easier to control rather than something with really big gigantic leaves and with a lot of cracks I can't see once they get infested. So that's why I got a tiny plant, and this is not in the best condition either. These were cut by people from the nursery. I think they probably overwatered it and whatnot. There are 3 leaves here randomly. There's something here. I don't really know. And this was the leaf that it was forming when I bought it, and once it formed, it is, I don't know, super dry. Other than that, it was sitting in my house doing absolutely nothing, and I thought, isn't it a fast grower? And I had decent light, and finally it's giving me a leaf. When I saw it at the nursery, I just have never seen anything like this before. I was so amazed that I decided to get it right there. It was about $6, but it wasn't this bushy when I got it. It had these 2 gigantic leaves. This is even bigger leaf. But all of these small ones were new growth. When I repotted it, I found that it was seriously root bound. There were tiny leaves growing out, like this one that looks really small. After I repotted it, it's been growing like crazy. I like plants with big leaves. I don't like plants with baby leaves anymore. I used to like them more, but now I just want big, majestic plants. Initially when I got it, it was so bushy and cute, but now when I look at it, it's just long and reaching for light, which I don't understand why, because I put it under plenty of light. But I also heard that these plants are seasonal, so they won't live for very long, and by next year they'll probably die. If you look at the bottom, there used to be a lot of undergrowth, like a lot of these small ones coming out, but because of the top plant, they're really just getting stifled. It looks like they just died out. They shed leaves like crazy as well, and the leaves are so delicate. I was spraying kelp water at them as a foliage feed. I think this plant doesn't like it at all. It's shriveled up and it's losing its color, losing its texture. It was just so happy when I got it. This is the baby plant that comes from the mother plant, and it was about this big. But the rest of the leaves are just long already. I got it from Trader Joe's, and this is one of the first plants that I ever had. I keep my Sansevieria very dry, but I still found fungus gnat larvae in there before, so I know that keeping your soil dry isn't going to be sufficient. I really like Sansevieria because they just don't complain. I've repotted many of my plants, and some of them are almost dying. I haven't killed a plant yet, fingers crossed. But this one, no matter what I did, it was just really happy and growing all the time, and it didn't require much or complain at all. So I think this is another one of my favorite plants. Here in my bathroom, I have several more plants, and let's start with this. I bought it for $5 in a 4-inch pot, and the nursery set it outside, so it was getting almost direct sun every day, and it grew gigantic. but I think it looks a little bit fried. This is really shriveled up. There's sunspots everywhere. The leaf that I cut off looks like this in the front, and in the beginning I thought it was sunspots, but when I flip it, it's really gross and wet and mushy, so I thought it's probably a fungus infection instead of a sunspot. In the beginning, I left them in a saucer of my Monstera, but it really did nothing for me, so I just threw them all away and I started doing this. I looked up so many YouTube videos online, and apparently this is one of the fastest ways to propagate succulents. This alongside with putting toothpicks around them or something like that on an ice cube tray, and they're having pretty good growth, so I'm happy about that. And also I was looking it up, and apparently some succulents grow leaves first, the small leaves first, and some of them grow roots first. This one, I don't know, I probably shouldn't give up, but the bottom here looks like there's little nodes coming out, and I hope that it's not just gonna dry up and mold and die. These are my small pilea plants that come from the mother plant in the living room. I already have more pileas than what I know what to do with. I gave one to a friend and gave 2 others to another friend, and then I cut off the 3 left from the mother plant and planted them in here, but I really don't know what to do with them because I don't want more pileas anymore. I'm looking to give them away and see if anyone would take them, or sell them for like $5 together with the pot and the soil, because this pot is from Terrain and it's $3 for a terracotta pot that looks nothing special. And this is the plant that I think if I ever kill a plant, this is gonna be the first one that I kill. This pilea, this aluminum plant, has gone through so much. I overwatered it, I treated it for fungus gnats. It was super happy when I got it, and then they start curling all over the places. You see the leaves growing out all crispy and curled, and it just doesn't look good. And I was almost thinking about giving it up because it just feels like I've been abusing it so much, and I don't know if it's gonna live. In the end, I thought I'll give it one last try, and I moved it into a terrarium by itself. I think ever since then it's been doing fine. These 2 pairs and the other 2 pairs are new leaves, and I think I'm seeing a lot of new leaves coming out from all over the places. I'm glad I didn't give it up. Initially, I got it in a 5-inch pot, and it was manageable and a decent size, but I moved it into a 7-inch pot, and it's growing so much, so quickly, that it's covering the entire top of this pot, and some of the new leaves that are growing out are losing the variegation and reverting back, not because I'm not giving it enough light, but I think because it's getting covered by other leaves constantly. So I don't know if I should dig some of them up with the roots and repot them into a different pot so that they can all keep their variegations, or do I just leave it here and let it be? This is such a rich man's problem. I know a lot of people are trying to get their neon pothos or pothos in general, their trailing plants, to look bushier on top and then plant the trailing parts back into the soil, but now I'm trying to take mine out. But yeah. This is the pothos from my apartment. This is the other bunch that I talked about earlier. What I did was I divided my pothos cuttings into jade pothos and golden pothos pretty much. And this is obviously the jade pothos bunch. And some of them are not being rooted very well, I think. You feel this leaf, it's very, very flimsy, and I don't know if I can make it. This is also another flimsy leaf. We'll see if it's gonna get better after this. This is my biggest houseplant. It's a croton. I got it in a 5-inch pot from one of the big box stores because I thought it was so cheap for such a big plant, and it's been growing fine. I have a theory that if you want to see how much light you get in your apartment, you should just get a croton. Based on the color of the croton, I think you can easily tell how much light your place has For example, I think I have pretty good light and I try my best to give it the best light I can. I've seen at nurseries where they have leaves in the center that are all yellow, and I'm really jealous of that, but I don't think I can give it as much light compared to those places. I found some spider mites on my croton, but it was just early stages and I didn't find anything else, so I kind of just sprayed it with my spray bottle. My spray bottle has this setting that sprays a very thin, strong current, and I thought, oh great, that's such a nice mini power wash. So I targeted it right at my croton, and all of its young leaves fell off. And I lost about 3 leaves that way, 3 baby leaves. So the ones that are forming are the ones that survived the trauma, either survived the trauma or formed afterwards. Either way, I'm super impressed with this plant. I'm very happy with it. This is my parallel peperomia. I have to say this is also one of my favorite peperomias. Look at how cute it is. The leaves are really hard and the textures are almost printed. They're like printed textures on the cardboard. When I got it, it has pretty much the bottom layer and then all the top layers around here. These ones are the new growth. Now this is the bane of my existence. I absolutely hate this plant. I got it together with my Sansevieria from Trader Joe's, so this is one of the earliest plants that I have. And in the beginning, I overwatered it, I think, because I put it in too big of a pot and it couldn't handle it. It used to be in my peace lily pot, which is a 6-inch pot, and it came in a 4-inch nursery pot that's a lot smaller and shallower, so I think it wasn't doing well. Then I tried to take it out and I put it in a normal pot with more perlite soil. I think it's doing better, but at the same time, if you have seen those Pilea peperomioides online, if you buy them from nurseries, you'll know that their leaves look like this. All of them look like this in the beginning. But once you take them home and you start growing them yourselves, the leaves are deformed, folding, curled, protruding. There's so many issues with them, and I just can't get them to look like what they look like in nurseries and on Instagram pretty much. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with looking like this, but I just don't think that they by any means any kind of easy plan like people advertised. Like, this is folded, but from far away I think the visual is there, and I guess that's all you can ask for, right? In the beginning, it was 30 degrees at night, and I put it next to my window near draft, and the leaves started forming brown spots. It just looked really ugly, so I cut off a lot of leaves that way. So now the leaves are kind of sparse, and they're small as well. I don't know the names of my succulents because I'm not a super big succulent fan. I think I'm not giving it enough sunlight right now because it's been really rainy the past couple days or past week or so. It's getting enough light so that it's not growing stretchy, but at the same time it's not giving me that vibrant pink color anymore. I got this cactus from West Elm and it was 99 cents on final sale, and this is the plant that kickstarted my entire plant collection. It's not growing evenly. I'm wondering if one side it gets more sun than the other. So I'm thinking this is the side that's getting a lot of light and this is the side that's not getting enough light. So this side stretches out faster and creates like a shallower curve pretty much. The last plant I have is this Schefflera. I got it yesterday from Trader Joe's. I just randomly went in thinking that maybe this time they'll have some nice tropicals, and lo and behold, they have a fresh shipment coming in. So I haven't repotted it yet, but this really needs a repotting. And my boyfriend said he saw fungus gnats flying out of the pot, so I'm probably gonna treat it for fungus gnats once I can water it. The roots are coming out from the top of the soil, which is a really strong indicator that it needs to be repotted. And also, if you look at the bottom of the pot, it has some roots coming out. I'll wait for a little bit because I don't think it needs to be repotted right now. And I'm going to repot, treat fungus gnats, and do everything at the same time. As I was editing the video, I realized that I forgot to film an outro. I also didn't realize that this video was excruciatingly long and excruciatingly hard to edit, and it took me 2 months. This was the first video that I ever filmed on my phone. Now I can finally post it. Since then, I've actually expanded my plant collection quite a bit, and my taste in plants also changed. What I like and what I want are pretty different from before. So in the fall, hopefully I'll do another plant tour and see how much progress my plants have. Thank you for watching this time.